So my stream crashed. So I'm back. I'm back. And I saw that YouTube was trying to put me on limited ads. So I just decided to go ahead and come back in, closed everything out, rebooted everything so I could get back in. And the whole thing is just crazy. So that's why I'm coming back in and why I'm so discombobulated. It is just beyond me. I'm Suzanne Tinkelmeyer. If you don't know me, I wrote for Pathos for something like almost 10 years. A column called No Longer Quivering. Hey, nobody. These are just my opinions. Don't harass anybody. Hit like, subscribe. So I'm doing all my stuff. I'm furious too, small town Jewel. Furious. 12 and a half years is not long enough. Hey, Christoph fan. I'm not really. I'm still having all kinds of issues with my diverticulitis, and I have to go to Arnold tomorrow to sell my car. So, yeah, I'm blown away too. I'm really shocked. Katie, I'm really shocked that this happened this way because it is almost never you've seen a prosecutor ask for a full sentence for the maximum. You just don't see that. I thought that maybe Josh actually stood a chance of getting the 20 years because of the fact, stupid motherfucker. So I'm just going to say it. I'm not monetized. I say whatever the hell I freaking want today. So they give him 12 and a half years. The judge wants him to attend a special sex offenders treatment in a certain place. I forgot exactly where, but it's not far from the Duggar spread comparatively. I honestly expected the worst. I'm pleasantly surprised. Yes, he is a habitual offender of children. And to me, that was the worst part of this, was seeing the victim statement, the victim impact statement that came right before they went ahead and sentenced him. The victim, she talked about being re-victimized every time anybody viewed the material of her being abused. And having worked at a children's residential treatment center, I can just tell you, that never goes away. That child is going to deal with this for the rest of their lives. This is going to be to their great shame. This is going to be held over them. This is going to hold them back. This is going to, it already has caused horrific harm to the child, physically, emotionally, spiritually, all the way along. And so for them to claim disingenuously that it was a victimless crime is a load of bullshit. I'm just going to call it what it is. It's bullshit. And I just can't believe that the judge has done this. The video that he had, one of them, was possibly one of the worst videos about child porn that had ever been shown. It was a baddie. And I figured because the number of images and the fact that he was possessing what was possibly the worst child porn video ever made, that he was going to pay the price for more years than 12 and a half. Like I said, he got 6 months less than Jack Shope for taking a 16-year-old girl across state lines to have sex with her. He got less than that stupid pastor of Hyles Anderson College and First Baptist Church of Hammond, Indiana. We only have to serve half, right? Christoph, I think it depends on offense. I'm not sure. I don't know if it's half or 2/3. Some judicial systems, you have to serve 2/3 of your sentence. Some you have to serve a minimum of half before they'll even think about paroling you. And I don't know which one. They were trying to the judge was saying he was going to be put in one of two places. And both of the places are not too far from Arkansas. Prosecutors think he will reoffend and his youngest will be 12, still a target for him. That's the problem, Jackie. And that's why when they brought on somebody who was a social worker at one point, has said, this guy will reoffend. He does not need to ever be around children again. I've given up on hoping for real justice But again, I'm a pessimist. Nobody, I say that too. And then things like this happen, and I'm just like, the last time I was involved in a trial like this, it was a good friend of mine named Patricia Cook. She was gunned down in our little small town in Virginia because she was trespassing out of school. She had substance abuse issues, and she may have had a mental issue or two, but she was the most harmless lady because she was trespassing out of school. She had substance abuse issues, and she may have had a mental issue or two, but she was in the world, and she was in her 50s when this happened. The cop showed up. He asked her for a driver's license. She drove off, and he opened his service revolver into her and shot her 5 times in the back within yards of a school. So there's no justice. It's just us for a lot of these situations. Her attacker, the cop, got 36 months in jail, and he got out after 12. And the NRA paid for his defense, no less. So justice is pretty thin on the ground in any of these situations. And seeing and reading the poor girl's victim statement was just the thing that just really impacted me hard, because like I said, I've worked in that field. I know what that looks like. He should have thrown the book at him and made an example of his smug, entitled ass. Absolutely should have. But sometimes nobody gets justice. I would like to see the entire judicial system redone. Why? Because there are people languishing in jails right now that only had a joint of pot. Yet there are guys out there like Josh that have offended over and over through the years and keep getting worse. I was joking with my husband months ago about all this crap, and I said, 1 minute you're sneaking, holding hands behind the church with a girl, and the next minute you are starring in some kind of weird bestiality thing. Because the thing is, once it's a forbidden thing, and in the whole modesty, purity culture, sex is so forbidden that it becomes kind of an idol. And he is not the first guy to go from one thing to another as far as having to ramp up what he was doing to make it more exciting. And here we are. Even I didn't think he was going to do that. And I'm pretty cynical about just about every damn thing. Yeah, he didn't get that much time. And I think that his lawyers are going to bury the courts in paperwork trying to overturn this again. Yes, he should have gotten longer. I don't understand the judge's thinking either. I guess we'll have to wait until all the paperwork from the trial is released, and we can look at all of the emotions, because he denied most of the motions to the defense that the defense did put forward. He just denied most of them. So I don't know what he's thinking with this. I just don't. And to make matters worse, I don't know about you guys, but I was watching this on the Sun's website, because they kept continually updating. And Amy Duggar King was continually talking to them, and she was saying more and more just outrageous things. She was making all kinds of over-the-top histrionic type statements. Now, I understand he's her cousin and she's upset, but I don't think it's helpful to go to the media and run down your family repeatedly, because it wasn't just him she was running down. 12.5. Lots of different messages on socials. It's better than 5 years. You're absolutely right, Cookie. It is absolutely. He and all these types of monsters deserve life, but all YouTube lawyers were saying 8 to 12 years. Ginger, they were, because that would be an average sentence for some of these things. Throw him in a room with all the parents of those children. I agree. I absolutely agree. There's a formula for determining sentencing. I know that, but some of the things that he did were so egregious that they really needed to put the extra sentencing on him. Unfortunately, they just chose not to do that. I don't know what the judge was thinking. I can't wait to see the paperwork. So I was watching all this, and I was a friend of Amy Duggar King on Twitter because I befriended her when she started having her little squabbles without a box of Kleenex. And yeah, extras would have been disturbing. One of the extras kicks in when you have more than 600 images of child porn. He had over 700, so he clearly fell within that, but the judge denied that. They said no, it doesn't meet that level. BS. It certainly did. It certainly met that level. And like I said, Amy Duggar King was just busy venting to the sun and just saying the most atrocious things in the world and very dramatic. I wanted him to get more time, but I think that Amy trying to get attention, because this was clearly an attention whoring situation with her, was pretty disgusting. Amy was out of line. Absolutely. Absolutely, Prairie. Amy was extremely out of line with the crap she was saying. Yeah, I know that's how it's done. The judge couldn't count the uncharged conduct, previous sexual crimes, so he officially had to treat Josh as a first-time offender. Astrid, I think that you're absolutely right, sadly. And since they ruled that he did not meet the increased penalties, they waived that. There was apparently no way. So, as much as I hate this, the judge's hands were probably tied within a certain range. I was hoping that, like it happened with Jack Shope, that all of the letters of support that flooded in from the church members would mean more time. Because that's what happened in Jack Shope's federal trial. His people that he went to, that he in his church started flooding the judge with all kinds of motions. So that's where we are with all of this. Now, I'm curious to see what Caleb Williams is going to say now, because yesterday and the day before, he was on the redemption tour and he was running around talking to any YouTuber who would give him the time of day, spreading his story. Sojo Files and Without a Box of Kleenex are the only ones that talked to him at all. The only ones that did his thing. And the thing is, he was going around saying it wasn't so bad. He was on Reddit under a bunch of sock puppets defending himself. He is different than Josh in a horrible, horrible, horrible way. He started with his sexual assault victim when she was 13 and he was 20. And he continued on for over 3 years before he was caught and punished. So now Caleb is trying to say what he did was not so horrible and not so out of line. He's trying to preach his redemption thing and throw all the crap on Josh again. Butterbean Queen, I'm glad he got more than 10 years, but he definitely isn't enough. I agree. I'm sure jail will be hell for him. Yeah, because he won't be able to control anything. Do you think he'll be sent to a prison state? There was, let me see if I can pull it up. There were actually 2 recommendations for places for him to be sent that the judge was talking about. I can't remember for the life of me what the name of one of the places had kind of an oddball name. Okay, where are we? I'm still trying to figure out how to use my new Kindle. Okay. Okay. So let me look for this real quick because it gave the details. And I had it open on my computer, but it crashed the. I can understand why Amy's mad at the enablers too. I can't understand her running down her family like that. I just can't. I just can't because, well, Jim Bob and Michelle deserve everything being slung at them. His brothers and sisters do not. Okay, the sun is Their website is not. Here we go. Let me see the name of the two places that was recommended. Josh Duggar's lawyer said he, quote, accepts the sentencing, unquote, and asked what would be accomplished by giving Duggar a long sentence. Josh Duggar's lawyer is blaming this on the television show. Listen to this. His lawyer noted he was thrust into the spotlight in his atypical life. The exemplified hard work BS.